What's up, guys? Jaydaniel here with my co-host Victor. This is the Sales at Home podcast, and today we are talking about rest.
For sure, man. One of the most important things I think your body needs is rest. And Jaydaniel and I have been like chopping it up before we started, and it's so important to just get that rest and get that time to just kind of unwind. Like I know he's been killing it, going like full throttle. I've been real busy with my life and everything that's going on with me. And this past weekend, my wife and my best friend, they had been planning for the last 6 months to surprise me for my birthday. So
Mhm.
this episode comes out on my birthday. Friday is my birthday, the 23rd. I'll be 34.
Really, happy birthday,
This
dude.
episode is going to come out then, but they surprised me and said, "Hey, we're going to go to a lake house, which is something that we've always wanted to do." They were like, "Hey, pack a bag, we're going somewhere." And I had no idea my friend was going to be there. I had no idea where I was going. I'd get in the car, I start driving, me and my wife. 5 hours later, we end up at this lake house in Maryland, and we were just like, it was amazing. My friend was there, his girlfriend was there, we were chilling, and it was just so much fun to just unplug, get some rest, relax a little bit, and then, resume life like refreshed, right? I feel like sometimes we just want to head deep into the dreams and goals and missions, and we forget to take that rest and to calm down a little bit.
Dude, that's quite an interesting point. I was listening to this in a podcast I was listening to in my car as I was driving yesterday. Time is a man-made thing, right? So like our perception and our relationship with time is more so based on the amount of memories that are created from the time as opposed to like the actual time passing,
Huh.
right? So like if you're doing the same shit every single day, wearing yourself to the ground and you're not having new experiences, like time is going to go very quickly and you're going to like almost lose the excitement or like you're going to start to feel it physically, right? If you start to add more experiences, like you just do cool shit, like you go to a fucking lake house, right? Like I was just going through a really cool part of Orlando, like yesterday actually, a part that I would potentially want to like live in, and like just doing different stuff. And when you do that, it's crazy how refreshed you feel and how much more kind of alive you are like on calls,
Hmm.
right? So for anybody who's having this thing where they're only doing their work stuff and they don't really have a life outside of it, they don't really have any hobbies, or just working like 15 hours a day, like I would just like say like be very attentive to when your energy like really starts to drop and when your excitement drops and when you're like the way you're showing up changes. Because if you don't address that, you're losing a lot of money. So technically, by adding experiences and cool shit that you like into your life and increasing that close rate, increasing your energy and your joy and how present you are with prospects, you're actually making more money by taking the time out to do those things.
Hmm.
And to piggyback on that point, I know I'm hogging the mic,
Hmm.
but to piggyback on that point, something something that's huge is this idea of sleep, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're not like so if you're sleeping 4 hours a night, but you're working 16 hours in the day, right? Like you're gonna feel like shit. And that maybe it's doable because you're just tough for like 5 or 6 or 7 days, but your performance is gonna gradually drop, and then like you're gonna have a point where you're gonna hit a wall and you're just gonna like fuck. Like you're just gonna like you're gonna get sick because your immune system's gonna fail. Because if you can't work that hard and not rest
Hmm.
and be good, your immune system's gonna start to fail, your energy, your endocrine, all that shit. So like all these people want to do these crazy like those like biohackers, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, dude, the ultimate biohack is literally just sleeping a full 8 hours. Like LeBron James, he sleeps like 11 hours a fucking day. He's been performing at the highest level for almost 20 years nonstop.
Yeah, it's a battery. Like your energy, your life, you run off of a battery. And if
Uh,
you it's like your phone, right? The more you're on your phone, the more your battery drains. So you've got to put your phone down sometimes and chill out off your phone, and then your phone lasts longer. So if you're burning the candle at both ends, trying to make it happen, make it work, the candle dies quicker, right? So if you're gonna try to, yeah, you can do it. Yes, you can sleep for 4 hours and work for 16, for a time. But like you said, your body starts to deteriorate. Your body's like, no, I can't do this sustainably for a long time. And you start to drain. And that draining starts to have an effect on everything that you're doing. I mean, in your own house, in your apartment, wherever you live, the more you use your electricity, the more it costs, right? So the
Yeah,
more you use your energy, the more you try to expend your energy, the more it's going to cost you in the long run. So when that bill is due, and it's always due, your body's bill is always due. Is it going to be something that says, hey, you're rested and you're ready to go and continue? Or, hey, now you're sick, or now you're drained, now you're burnt out because you didn't take care of yourself. So much of what we do is about communication and talking to people and like having energy and just showing up, right? So if
literally.
you can't do that because you're pissed tired, then like what are you doing?
Exactly. Man, just like for me at least, dude, like I got into this space to create like this amazing life, and I realized like, dude, you like I'll make 10 grand in a fucking month. Who cares? Like the way I feel and the excitement doesn't change because of that. That just allows anybody to be able to access the experiences and do more stuff, but you still carry yourself with you.
Hmm.
So a lot of you, so like a lot of like being able to enjoy that lifestyle, right? You can do the same stuff right now to enjoy it. And you hear it a lot, but it's true, right? Like getting enough sleep to where you don't have a fucking headache everywhere you go, right? Like like being how do you say it? When you feel like shit and you're tired, right? And you're jumping on calls and you're like, I don't want to fucking talk to this person. I hate this. Go away. You're annoying. You're ugly. You're stupid. You ever have that? Like somebody's talking and you're like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the bro. Like I've had days like that where like a prospect's talking on the phone and I'm like, shut the fuck up. Give a shit. Huh. Wonder, wonder what should I eat today? Like literally, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like if you don't have that level of being present like on your calls, you're not gonna have it in your life, you know?
Yeah.
So it's really important to like have a good life so you're going into calls happy. Not I'm gonna take a shit ton of calls so I can have a good life.
I
Right?
think you make a good point though. It's not just about like I'm gonna do this. I'm got into sales because I want to make a good life for myself. No, like live that good life now. Live
Yep.
a good life while you're making it. Because the whole cliche, it's about the journey, not the destination. It really is. But
It's true.
a bigger, better point, and I've heard lots of billionaires or people with a lot of money say this, it's that if somebody were to have handed me that $1 million, that $1 billion, and I never had to work for it, I would have never understood
Good.
what it means to have it, right? So if you're the going through it, the learning how to still enjoy yourself while you're working, while you're building to that is so important to what happens when you finally get there. Learning how to properly manage work and fun and rest, like it's important for when you get that money. These are the skills you need to learn so you don't get that money and blow yourself out trying to get more because you're unsatisfied, or blow your money because you don't know how to properly relax, or just say, I'm
Exactly.
going to do all the relaxing and never work again and end up blowing all your money because you don't know how to work anymore. It's all
Yeah.
about the balance of growing as you go. And if you're going to grow, you've got to take everything and grow everything. You can't just grow one area of your life and expect to be where you want to be. You've got to grow every area simultaneously. It's like the whole team's got to make it, right? Started from the bottom,
Yep.
now we're here,
Now we're
right? So you
here.
got to have the
Yep.
whole team make it, or else you're going to get there and you're going to be lacking in a lot of areas. And that's why
Agreed.
rest, fun, like you say, new experiences is so important.
Bro. Yeah, dude. Um and new iPhones. iPhones are cool too. We'll see how that shit comes. I just ordered it. Yeah.
So Jaydaniel walked in and just dropped some cash on a new iPhone just because he could, just because he
Yeah.
new
Uh,
experience. He was just like, bam.
yeah, that's the new experience.
His iPhone
Yeah.
8 wasn't good enough.
No, bro, you know what? I haven't had an i bro, I had the iPod when I was 12, bro. 12
Yeah,
years ago. Yeah, yeah. That's crazy.
Wow.
iPhone 13, iPhone 14. So yeah, I had the iPod, like the original one with like 8 GB,
Hmm.
the little one with the steel back. And I got that for my 12th birthday, and I'm
Wow.
24. So that was the last like Apple product I owned. Like,
I never had an iPod. Well, that's not
really?
true. I bought an iPod from my friend. I gave him $65 for it. It was like an iPod. It had
Interesting.
like it was like a 16 gig or something like that, or whatever
Yeah,
it was,
yeah.
right? But we went out that night. We went shopping. It was like the three of us. We went shopping. That's what we did. And
Hmm.
as we're walking back, this guy, there's like a group of like six. I can tell they're gangbangers because I mean, I grew up there, so I know a gangbanger when I see one. But
Liquor comes in good.
our friend Derek, I'm gonna say his name. His name is Derek. He was just like, "Oh, where y'all from?" And both of me and my boy David were like, "Stupid Derek." Like walked right in the middle of them. They started being like, "Oh, let me hold that. Let me what you got in your pocket." You know, trying to like flash like they got pieces and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like they ended up taking $1, my brand new iPod that I bought for my friend, and then yeah, it was just this whole big
Mine's
order.
got stolen too, bro. But
Yeah.
it wasn't because I was stepping in somebody's neighborhood. It was because I left it in my gym locker and I didn't lock it. But
Yeah, it was like we had just had Carl's Jr. too, so we were mad full.
yeah,
So it was like, all right, we either fight these six dudes for an iPad for an iPod,
yeah,
or just let it go. That's what happened.
yeah.
Yeah,
You didn't risk your life over your iPod, bro?
bro, I
Come
wasn't
on,
that
man.
attached to it
You
at the
gotta
moment.
you
Even though
gotta
it was full,
sacrifice yourself.
it was full with music. I think I was like 19.
Yeah, yeah,
19,
yeah.
I was like, man, this ain't
Nah,
what I'm
bro,
trying
it's
to
not
do.
worth it.
It's not
It's
worth
good
it.
you live to another day.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get
Um,
ghetto stomped for an iPod.
it's chill. I feel like it's different in the US versus like a lot of other countries. Like, because the there's a level of humanity to a lot of like, the ghetto people, right?
Hmm.
Like as long as like you give them your shit, they're not gonna fucking kill you, for the most
Hmm.
part. Like if you look at like other countries, bro, like if you look at like, like Venezuela or any of these like semi communistic places, like the police will rob you. Like
Yeah.
a robber, like they'll like if you don't have like at least $100, they'll just kill you. Like if they see you with a phone, like they'll just kill you and take it. Like it's you know we're pretty lucky to be in like a like a Western like world where I know there's a lot to complain about in terms of like politics, this and that. They want to put this evil thing inside of me, whatever, right? But like
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And that's another thing too. Like, not only should you rest from like the physical like activity that you do and from taking calls and from work, but
Hmm.
rest from all the nonsense.
That's a
Rest from
good
all the
point.
media, rest
That's a
from all
good
the
point.
drama, dude, because
Yep.
that'll wear you down just as much, right? I
Dude.
mean, as a ethnic person, as a person of color, it's so easy to be like overloaded with drama if you let it, right? As anybody in this country, anybody in this world, if you sat there and paid attention to all the negativity, it's gonna wear you down. And what's gonna show up on your calls more? Someone who doesn't pay attention to, I mean, who's gonna show up better, right? Someone who doesn't pay attention to any of that stuff, someone who doesn't internalize everything, someone who's more focused on what they're trying to accomplish in their goal, or someone who's like so upset because the queen died. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
It's like there's a lot that you can just let impact you and that will impact you negatively. And you got to rest from all of it. You got to unplug from the media, unplug from the KPIs, unplug
Yep.
from your perceived OTEs, unplug from like, your pressures of life and just do something for yourself. And you don't have to have money to do it. That's the thing. Sometimes you can just go sit in the park for an hour, so watch people walking by, get to do something different,
Bro.
refresh yourself, go read a book somewhere where you're just like nice and calm and peaceful.
Bro. I was thinking about this shit yesterday. Like, because I've basically locked myself in, just been working,
Yeah, you
And
have been.
dude, yesterday, bro, I was, I drove a little bit into town, and I told you, right? Like I went to this local like indoor basketball court. I finished playing. I went outside. Um, And I just saw this bridge and this trail, and I started walking, and it's like, oh, cool. Like there's benches. Oh, cool. There's a really cool lake. And I just kind of walked by. There's a bunch of parks. And I was just sitting there, man, with a notebook, and I was just like, it's just like when you haven't really sat down and thought in a while like that, and just like a cool, calm, different environment. Because I think it's a little hard to really think in an environment that you're always in,
Yeah.
because a lot of your thoughts are repetitive. You have all your urges to interact and get dopamine from what you're used to. So like, dude, I was just writing for a while, bro. Like I chatted with this dude that was there, really cool guy. He's like a real estate investor. He was telling me about the area, but like I just sat there after he left, like for 30 minutes, bro. I was just writing. I was just thinking. And it was just everything that's happened over the last 3 or 4 weeks since I've really sat down and like, been in a different area and just wrote. And I think a good way to rest your mind is to get shit off your chest,
Yeah.
you know, and just write it down, or even like, I think that's really helpful. Like just
Yeah.
going to a new place, journaling, having a new experience. You know, this is just me, but I learn a lot about I solve a lot of problems as I'm playing basketball. It's funny, but like because you know how you can apply principles to different things,
I get that completely.
right? So it's like I'll solve a sales problem as I'm playing a basketball game. I'm like, okay, cool. I can predict he's gonna go here and he's gonna go here, and I'll just pass it there. Or you don't even think about it. How'd I do that? Oh, that came because I was actually watching a game earlier, or that I did that because I practiced this before. Oh, in sales, I wasn't overcoming this objection because I wasn't thinking ahead to when they said this, and I'm just literally solving problems and playing. So like
Mhm.
doing different shit too, bro. Like it a lot of the times you're stuck and you do something totally different, and because like most principles are the same across most like practices, you'll learn how to solve this problem while you're doing something totally unrelated.
Oh
So
yeah.
even though
You
you're
know what I think it
resting,
is?
uh-huh,
What I think it is, I think we get stuck using crutches, right?
mm-hmm,
We get stuck like, all right, so I'm having trouble on sales calls. Uh,
yeah,
let me like listen to this one podcast or like
uh-huh,
read this book, right? Instead of
yeah,
figuring things out for ourselves. Like,
that's a good point.
people used to like drive without their phones telling them where to go.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
the map quest, bro, the bit of
Yeah,
papers.
yeah. Or even further back than that, the actual map,
An
right?
actual
Like
map.
people used to drive without
Crazy.
GPS, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes I like to just get in my car and I'll take my kids with me because it makes it fun. And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
hey, you guys want to go left or right? And they'd be like, left, and we'll go left. All right, next turn, left or right? Right. And then we go right. And we just
Uh-huh.
get lost.
That's awesome.
And that it's so important to just get lost sometimes.
Right.
Let yourself go there because then you can clear your head, you refresh, you hit that reset button, and then you can come back and think about a problem and say, okay, now I can do this, now I can do that. Like you said, I've been noticing this, and that. Why does it happen when you're playing basketball? Is because you're getting lost in what you're doing.
Yep.
Getting lost in it, and you're like, yo, I'm just letting it's muscle memory. I'm letting my body do what my body does. I'm gonna
Yep.
take right, pass left. I'm gonna cut, undercut, go up for that layup. Like I'm gonna, cross this guy over, pull up for that J. Like it's what it is. You're just getting lost in it, and there's nothing you're not thinking. If you're thinking, you're thinking only about your next move.
Yep.
And like there's something powerful about shutting everything down, all the noise, and just thinking about your next move. And then you can start to, like you said, solve problems. And then that becomes, oh yeah, now I've got this whole thing figured out. My whole life is figured out because I was playing a game of basketball. Like,
Mm-hmm.
get it. But I used to have the same thing happen to me when I played. I wasn't in sales at the moment, but I was like, yo, if I'm playing, like, oh, I've this lyric that I'm looking for the song I'm writing, boom, I got it. Or, this problem at work, I'm handling that. Like it's just it it clears your head to just get lost in something that you're doing. And that's great
Yep.
if you're getting lost in sales. It's great. You should. But every once in a while you should step back and find a new experience to get lost in.
Yep. That's good shit, bro. I think we should wrap it up there.
Yeah,
Guys,
man.
we're gonna listen to our own advice and rest. We've had very long and arduous days of conquering the planet. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and check out the podcast on Spotify, Sales at Home. with Jay and Vic. And yeah, any last words for our audience of two?
Like I said, we will be dropping this on September 23rd, my 34th birthday. And I just want to give this to you as a birthday present from me to just say, keep at what you're doing. If you're struggling, keep at it. It'll get there. But make sure that if you guys have any questions for us, you dial us in, you let us know, you hit us up on our socials. We want to talk to you. We want to hear from you. We're gonna have awesome, amazing guests that we've been having. If you've missed Zach Brown and JD and the Raúls,
Oh man, you
you've
guys,
missed some power,
yeah, those are
and
good.
we're bringing much more as we grow. So just want to thank you guys for paying attention and for listening. And we'll see you soon.
Peace.
Peace.